Ever heard about ever-burning lamps?
Sounds a little mythical, doesn't it?
Totally, right. Like something straight out of fantasy, a flame that just keeps going and going.
Yeah, forever.
So today, we're diving deep into these stories, these accounts, theories about these kind of mysterious lamps.
And we're going to be looking at all this through a Rosicrucian text
Oh, right. Got to mention the source.
by W. Wynne Westcott.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, Rosicrucianism. I mean, for folks who might not be familiar.
It's a tradition, a very old one, that's really into mysticism, esoteric knowledge, all that good stuff.
So where do lamps fit into all of this?
It's fascinating, really. Like the whole idea of perpetual motion. Yeah. Something working forever without any energy source.
It's got to be impossible, right?
Well, modern science would say so. But back in the day, people took these accounts of forever lamps very seriously.
Interesting.
See, Rosicrucians and a lot of ancient cultures, too, they didn't just see these lamps as, like, physical objects. They were powerful symbols.
I see.
Westcott, the author, he actually argues that maybe true perpetual motion is, scientifically impossible.
Okay.
But the idea of an eternal flame, that's not so crazy.
Uh-huh. How so?
Well, he compares it to the idea of eternal life. Lots of people believe in that, even today.
Right. So maybe these lamps weren't literally burning forever.
Yeah.
But for so long, it seemed like an eternity.
Yeah. To the people who found them anyway.
And speaking of finding them, our source mentioned some pretty wild historical accounts.
Oh, yeah.
One that really got me was the one about the lamp in Tuliola's tomb.
Tuliola's.
Cicero's daughter. The lamp had been burning for, get this, over 1,550 years.
Wow.
And her body was perfectly preserved, floating in oil. Adds to the whole mystique, doesn't it?
It does. And what's interesting is so many of these lamps, they're found in tombs. Like the account of Pallas, son of Evander. His tomb had this lamp that supposedly couldn't be put out unless it was broken. And there were even inscriptions talking about his death back when Rome was founded.
So we kind of have a timeline then.
Yeah, potentially. But the point is, these lamps and tombs, they weren't just about light, right? It's like they were meant to, I don't know, illuminate death.
Yeah. Like light against the darkness, continuing on.
Or even a connection to something divine,
That's a really interesting point. Light as hope, as continuity, even when faced with death.
Powerful, isn't it?
And that connection to the divine, it's not unique to these lamps, right?
Not at all. Think about the sacred fire in Jewish tradition, never supposed to go out.
Right. Or
the window in Noah's Ark. Some people interpret that as a perpetual light, a kind of divine beacon, guiding humanity.
So we're seeing this theme across cultures, this idea that these lamps had a deeper meaning.
It's like they bridge the material world and the spiritual.
I love that. But okay, got to play devil's advocate for a sec.
Go for it.
Couldn't some of these lamps have just been, I don't know, reignited when the tombs were opened?
Air rushing in, creating a spark.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a theory for sure. Possible in some cases. But then you have accounts like the lamp in the Temple of Venus in Egypt. It kept burning even though it was out in the open, exposed to wind and rain.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Some people even said it was magic. And don't forget about the one in the Temple of Jupiter Ammon, open air, burning for years. So air exposure might explain some lamps, but not all of them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the big question, how did they work? What kind of fuel could burn for that long?
Now, that is the million-dollar question. The sources, they're kind of vague on the specifics, but there's a lot of talk about asbestos wicks.
Asbestos. Isn't that like dangerous stuff?
Yeah, by today's standards, definitely. But asbestos, it's got this crazy ability to resist heat, resist burning. The ancients knew this, though. They used it for all sorts of things. They called it asbestinum amiantus, even salamander's wool.
Wow.
Imagine a wick that just never burns away. That would definitely make a lamp last longer.
True, but what about the fuel itself? What could burn for centuries?
That's a mystery. Yeah. And the theories range from the practical to the alchemical. Some people think it might have been some kind of oil, like bituminous oil, similar to petroleum, maybe from a source we've only recently rediscovered.
Makes sense, but I think the alchemists had a more intriguing take on it, right?
Oh, they did. They thought the fuel might have been a special oil derived from gold.
Gold? How do you even make oil from gold?
Well, this is where we get into the alchemists' worldview, right?
Yeah.
They saw fire not just as like the result of burning something, but as an element,
An element
a
itself?
fundamental force of transformation. And gold, it's practically indestructible, resists fire. So in alchemy, it was really important. They believed if you could transform gold into its purest form, an oil, it could sustain a flame forever.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So these lamps, they're more than just light sources, huh?
Right.
They represent, like, a whole different way of understanding the world.
Yeah, like science and spirituality combined.
Exactly. It's so fascinating. And you know what's really interesting? The whole asbestos wick thing.
Yeah.
It's not just an ancient thing. Helena Blavatsky, the occultist, she claimed Tibetan Buddhist temples used asbestos wicks too, to keep their lamps burning continuously. So while we might not know exactly how they made these long-burning flames, these accounts popping up across so many cultures and time periods, it makes you think there's got to be something to it, right?
Definitely makes you think. This recurring theme of ever-burning lamps, it suggests there was some kind of shared knowledge, lost knowledge maybe, about how to use fire in ways we don't quite understand anymore.
Which brings us back to that Rosicrucian perspective.
Yeah.
Remember, we're looking at all this through their lens, and they saw these lamps as more than just weird curiosities.
They saw them as symbols of human potential.
Exactly. Westcott, he argued that these lamps showed what humans could achieve with knowledge, training, and that connection to the divine.
Right. He believed that not everyone could become a quote-unquote magician.
Sure.
But those with the right abilities, the dedication, they could tap into hidden powers of nature, like the people who made those lamps.
So it wasn't just about the right fuel, the right wick. It was about understanding the universe, our place in it, on a deeper level.
Yeah.
But if that knowledge was out there, where did it go? Why don't we see ever-burning lamps today?
Well, that's a question that takes us even deeper into this whole mystery. Yeah, where'd that knowledge go? It really is kind of mind-boggling, isn't it?
Totally. Like, do we just forget how to do it? Or was it, lost somehow?
There are a few different thoughts on that. Some people believe, and this is kind of like conspiracy theory territory, that this knowledge was, like, deliberately hidden.
Ooh, secret societies? Hidden knowledge. I love it.
Right. Kept secret by certain groups, passed down through, I don't know, secret lineages or something. To prevent misuse, maybe? There are definitely examples of esoteric knowledge being guarded throughout history,
Makes sense, but couldn't it also have been lost more accidentally? Like wars, natural disasters, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just time eroding those records.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine, like, a fire destroying the only copy of a crucial text, or the last person who knew the secret dying without passing it on. It's sad, but it happens. Lost knowledge is a recurring theme, throughout history. Who knows, maybe the ever-burning lamp met a similar fate.
It really makes you wonder about all the stuff we might have lost over time, right? Like, what if there's a chance, even a tiny one, that the secret could be rediscovered?
That's an interesting thought. I mean, we can't say for sure, but there are a few things to consider, like the fact that we have so many accounts from all different cultures and time periods.
Right, it's not just one isolated myth.
Exactly. Roman, Greek, Egyptian, even early Christian texts mention these lamps. It kind of hints that there might be something real behind the stories.
And on top of that, scientific understanding's always changing, right?
Right, yeah, definitely. What seems impossible today could be totally normal tomorrow. Maybe there are properties of energy or matter that we just haven't discovered yet, principles that could explain how those lamps worked.
Imagine new scientific principles waiting to be discovered. Like, it wouldn't be the first time something magical turned out to be science we just hadn't figured out yet.
Exactly. Like a few centuries ago, people would have thought electricity was magic.
Totally. So who knows what breakthroughs are out there, right? Maybe someone will find a lost text or decipher an ancient inscription that has the key to the whole thing.
That'd be amazing.
Right. Makes me want to go on a quest. But, okay, being realistic for a sec, where would someone even start looking for clues about these lamps?
Well, like we said, the accounts are all over the place, different cultures, different eras. So ancient literature, archaeology, those would be good places to begin. Imagine piecing together fragments of info from different sources, different languages, different fields. It'd be like solving a giant historical puzzle.
That's so cool. We tend to put knowledge in boxes, But maybe the answer is in connecting those seemingly unrelated dots.
100%. And don't forget the alchemists. Their writings, their theories about fire, gold, transformation could have some valuable insights. They were obsessed with understanding the universe, Maybe they stumbled onto something we've missed.
It's like looking at the same puzzle, but from a different angle. Their perspective might reveal something new.
Exactly.
But what about our modern science, our tools? Could they help us rediscover this?
For sure. Our understanding of physics, chemistry, even quantum mechanics, it's growing so fast. Maybe those disciplines can give us new insights into how those lamps worked.
So while the ancients might have approached this from a more spiritual angle, we could get to the same place using science.
Maybe. But honestly, the most important tool is just keeping an open mind.
Right.
Questioning what we think we know, considering possibilities that seem outlandish. That's how breakthroughs happen, when people dare to imagine the impossible.
It's all about approaching this with curiosity, a willingness to challenge those boundaries.
Yeah. Sometimes the most incredible discoveries come from those who venture beyond what's considered accepted knowledge, you know?
I love that. Okay, this deep dive has definitely sparked my curiosity. But taking a step back, let's say we rediscover the secret. What then? Is it just a cool historical fact? Or could it have, like, real-world uses? I mean, a lamp that never needs refueling? That's got to be useful.
And that's where it gets really interesting. Oh, it gets really interesting. Think about it practically for a second. A light source that needs no fuel, practically zero maintenance.
That would be revolutionary.
Totally. Energy consumption, sustainability, forget about it. We could, I don't know, lessen our reliance on fossil fuels.
Well, yeah, create a more sustainable future, potentially.
Exactly. And it goes even further. You know, space exploration, for example. Resources are scarce out there. Every bit of fuel counts.
Self-sustaining light source.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
Game changer.
You're totally right. The impact on energy exploration would be huge. But I'm also thinking about those, like, deeper implications. The philosophical, the spiritual side of things. We talked about that earlier.
Right. Like, it wouldn't just illuminate the world literally.
Right.
But our understanding of the universe, you know, our place in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, those ever-burning lamps, they're symbols. Enlightenment, knowledge that lasts. That connection between the physical and the divine.
It's powerful stuff.
Rediscovering that knowledge. It could challenge everything we think we know. It could push science further. And maybe, just maybe, it could bring back that sense of wonder about the universe and its mysteries.
Oh, I love that. It's like a reminder that we're still explorers. We're still trying to figure it all out. And maybe, just maybe, the secret of that lamp will be part of that journey.
Imagine if we could tap into an energy source that, like, breaks the laws of physics as we know them.
I know, right?
Our whole relationship with energy would change.
Yeah.
A whole new era of science and technology.
This deep dive has really been something else. I never thought a simple lamp could hold so many, like, mysteries and possibilities.
That's the beauty of the unknown, isn't it? It forces us to think differently, to look beyond what we see. It reminds us that the world is way more mysterious and wonderful than we often realize.
So what would you say to someone listening to this, you know, who's feeling inspired, who wants to dig deeper into this mystery? Where do they even begin?
Embrace that inspiration. Seriously, start with those historical accounts we talked about. Read ancient texts, research those archaeological finds, and don't be afraid to, like, connect the dots between different cultures, different areas of study. Those answers, they might be scattered like pieces of a puzzle, just waiting for someone with a curious mind to put them together.
And who knows, maybe you listening right now, you might be the one to make that breakthrough.
You might be the one to find that missing piece.
It's a reminder that we can all be part of this, the pursuit of knowledge.
And even if you don't solve the mystery of the lamp specifically, that journey is still amazing. Remember, pursuing knowledge, it's not about reaching some final destination. It's about constantly exploring, questioning, learning more about the world around us.
So to everyone listening, keep that wonder alive. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to challenge what you think you know, explore those uncharted territories of knowledge.
Because as we've seen today, there are mysteries all around us just waiting to be discovered. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to find them.